And welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. Today I've got the beautiful Sally Thornton with me. Sally is a kinesiologist and kinesiopractor. She helps people break through subconscious blocks and reconnect to their body. She works with people who feel stuck, overwhelmed, or disconnected, guiding them through their anxious feelings, emotional patterns, and past trauma. Her journey into this powerful work is what we're going to unpack today and learn all about her history, her spiritual awakening, and the dark night of the soul. Welcome, Sally. I'm so glad to have you here with me.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. And it's been a pleasure to meet you. We met via a reading at a
Yeah.
psychic fair in Parramatta, and it was a beautiful
Mhm.
day and reconnected after that. I wanted to have you on the podcast today because I love kinesiology. It is one of the very first modalities that I learnt about, but many of our listeners maybe don't know what kinesiology is. Can you give us a quick rundown on what it's all about?
Kinesiology is a modality that accesses the information in your subconscious mind via muscle testing because the body is the subconscious mind. And the subconscious has all the information that we need to access why is it that I feel stressed? Why is it that I feel this way? And what it needs to clear that.
I love that. As I said, kinesiology was one of the first modalities that I ever connected with.
Mm.
And for me, it was very life changing. Did you go see a kinesiologist? Is this how you got into it? What led you to go and study kinesiology? It's not an easy modality to learn, and there is very deep and strict rules around it.
Well, I found that I was in a pattern many years ago. I had a very difficult relationship, but not just that. I was like repeating toxic cycles and high stress levels, constantly in survival mode until I reached a point where I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. So I did start the meditation and the journaling and nutrition. And those things were really great, but I realized there was still something missing because if you still have that underlying belief, I'm not good enough, the world's a terrifying place, or love is painful, then those things are just filling a void. And it's like we need to do those things concurrently to create that lasting change. And that's where I discovered kinesiology helps you access those unconscious beliefs, driving it.
I love that. And that's what I discovered too. It was very hard to find a kinesiologist. I had all these problems. I don't even remember what led me to it. I just know that I was so disconnected from my body and I had no idea what was going on within me. And somehow I come across this kinesiologist. Her name was Jane, and she was in Queensland because I was up helping a friend of mine who was going through some disease at the time and
Mm.
living up there. And I went there to help with weight loss or something and problems in my body. I just was fatigued. I had all sorts of things going on to the
Mm.
point that I just didn't know where I was at. And she introduced me to this amazing modality and helped me shift part of
Mm.
that. But underneath what I thought were the problems, and that's what I went for, what I thought was going on
Mm.
was the much deeper story. And she referred me to someone else who was able to give me a bunch of sessions. They did a sort of trade. They were working in a community aspect because at the time I was not working, as I said, helping a friend go through some disease, and went and learned different meditations and other breath work and stuff like that, and had some more kinesiology. This shifted everything for me. I just found it so amazing. So, the work that you do truly matters and has impact on life because those stories stay with me forever. What is the biggest shift that you personally had via kinesiology?
Definitely feeling safe in my body, like, and that would impact every interaction, everything in my life. And I didn't understand why. Because if my reality is, oh my gosh, everything is just triggering danger, then what's going on underneath? And I didn't know. It's almost like you identify with that. Oh, that's just who I am. I'm just a really anxious person. But actually, not necessarily. You just have these belief systems that are causing your body to not feel safe, which causes behavior, which then impacts reality. So we just step back from that in kinesiology.
Yeah, I love that because, as I said, I went there feeling disconnected, not knowing who I was. But
Mm,
underneath, it was also a phase in my early 20s, and I hadn't really come to terms with the fact that I was sexually abused as a child. I'd blocked it out, didn't want to know about it. I also didn't remember most of it, but I
mm,
had very conflicting versions of what happened going on in my own mind, and that was causing on my body symptomatic problems that I
mm,
had at the time. So the gentleman that did this session with me took me through the muscle testing, and I have to say, to me, it took hours, but I don't know how long the session actually was, but it was a very long-winded session, and he associated the feelings with a bird. I don't know how this little bird come into it, but it was just the tie of the emotion attached to it, and I considered it friendly. So I found that in like this was about my second or third session, I didn't even want to let go of those problems. And I know I've got other friends that are kinesiologists, and I've met many throughout my life, and they tell me it's quite a common thing. We naturalize problems and make it neutral for us in order to survive. Have you had any episodes like that with clients or yourself?
absolutely. And it makes a lot of sense because the subconscious mind, I make it like that because it's 95% of everything. Our conscious mind's only 5%. It has a vested interest in keeping you safe. And when I say safe, it's just whatever's programmed in there. So anything that's been repeating in your life or anything that your brain's made that mean something, and there's no one in there. It doesn't go, oh, that's good for you and that's not good for you. It just sees the program and obeys. And that's 95%, which is a very dominant part of our life. So because there was programs in you and I, and everyone saying, this is what's safe for me, then it repeats that. Okay, this is what's keeping me safe. But it's not necessarily working for us.
Yeah, and it was something that it kept me safe. It was part of the normal of reality that I created because heaven forbid I wanted my mind to break to accept the abuse and to become that victim. Whilst I
Mm.
was doing this session, he told me the most fascinating story, and it stuck with me my whole life, like ever since that day. Is he also treated another woman, and she was sexually assaulted quite brutally, and she came to him for treatment, and her consciousness was okay sort of with it because she'd reframed the story, but the unconscious mind wasn't. So he was helping her clear the subconscious and unconscious aspect associated with it. And he told me the mindset shift that she had. So instead of labeling her sexual assault as assault in itself, she turned it around in her own mindset, and she gave the abuser the best sex he ever had of his life. And it really shifted something in me. Now, I've had many different clients along the way of working in different areas of life, and it's something that people do. Any domestic assault or domestic violence victims, sexual assault victims, have to reframe that story. And in doing that, that powerful shift happens, but sometimes it doesn't get out of the body. And this is where kinesiology come into it for both of us to clear that. Because after having my session to let go of the normalcy of my abuse, that it was normal because if I didn't make it normal, I may not be alive. That created things like the depression problems or the anxiousness and the anxiety symptoms that occurred in my body. Kinesiology helped that. This is why I love it, and I can see such power in it. But kinesiology also helps with like nutrition and identification of problems in the body that you can't always identify through emotional aspects. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So with the muscle testing, we can access that information in your mind. What is it? Let's say someone comes in and says they want to feel calmer or they don't want to have this stress reaction anymore. Then in relation to that, we ask the subconscious mind, the body is the subconscious mind, what is going on there? We look at the reality. This is the reality I don't like. We look at the behavior in relation to that reality, how the body feels. I don't feel safe to move forward. So I'm stuck in this program of this is who I am. This is what happened to me in my past. And that means that that's who I am. And we don't feel safe to move forward. And then we access the belief system. Now we've accessed that. How does the body want to clear it? It might be that the body wants to clear that information energetically, nutritionally, physically, or a combination of each. We allow that person's body to completely choose its own healing path, and that's what can be profoundly huge.
I love that. And I didn't fully understand it at the time that I went through it to realize how simple it could be. How can something be completely changed in like a single session or that agreement? Because it's through the muscle testing that you get agreement from all levels of the soul to release these
Mm,
problems. So when you're stuck in these repeating patterns and you're not sure how to identify what it is, you're going to be telling yourself one story. Kinesiology gets quickly to the truth for me.
exactly. Yeah, it really does. Because we hide a lot of things, and a lot of things are suppressed and repressed and denied. And we keep that in a place where we're like, I don't want to go there. We kind of know that it's something there, but we just don't want to go there. And if it's the right time for that person's body, your body will never put you in a position that's too much for you to cope with at that time. The right bit of information for that person's body will arise for them to work through.
And the great part about it also for me is that all of this happens on an energetic sort of level. So there's no talk therapy running through it over and over again, no witnessing fully what the problem was. This is
Mm.
done on a soul level to get it out of the system of the body and
Mm.
somatically release it so that you don't have to talk it to death.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It might be that we need to revisit a memory. It might not be that we need to revisit a memory. It might be that the body wants to release that through the physical body. There's so many different things that we can bypass the subconscious reaction to things via body movements as well.
I love it. Just, it blows my mind. It really does.
Mm.
All of this, like you mentioned that you went through a hard partnership and things like that. You went through a big spiritual awakening, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, with the hard partnership, because it left me feeling so drained on so many levels, I couldn't deal with anything right then. So I did suppress it. And that's a mechanism that we do have because I had to go to work and make more money and pay the rent and the bills and things. So I had to repress and suppress a lot of those things until a point came where either sometimes your body just forces you to it, or with the right sort of therapies or whatever you're doing, you can sort of start to access that. And that is what we call your truth. So let's say on one side you have all this noise, like, oh, I'm so busy doing these things, and that's like our coping mechanisms. And there might be really healthy coping mechanisms. I go to the gym all the time, I go for walking or whatever, and they're fine and lovely. And then there's other coping mechanisms and noise, isn't there? Like beliefs, like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? And then on the other side, the thing that we don't want to look at is the truth. And that's if we were to access that, that's what we really need to process. That's my idea of the dark night of the soul or the spiritual awakening. Because once I did access that, so many of my anxiousness and other feelings sort of felt more grounded because I'm like, I'm not pretending anymore. I've been there. And I'm not saying it's for everyone, and it's okay just to dip a toe in and then come back out to your coping mechanisms. Nothing wrong with that. But if you do go in, just remember it does end. If you think about it like a container, eventually it will end. And now you've built real resistance to pain and suffering rather than our coping mechanisms. So it's almost like you have that foundation. You'll have experienced this yourself. You have that foundation, whereas our coping mechanism is sort of a balancing act. So anything could trigger me, and I've gone back down. Type of so delicate in a way. But when we do go there, we build a solid foundation, feel more grounded and safe to be who you are, and safe to feel anxious if you're feeling anxious. Mm.
And that's the hard part, is the safety aspect, the part of our base chakra that keeps us in safety and security. And it
Mm.
protects us. So it hides a lot of our memories and it stores them way back so that we can't fully access them for that safety and security. They'll only ever rise up when we're truly ready and open for that growth and to access the true resilience that lies within us.
Mm.
That for me is the true meaning of resilience, not the knock down and the get back up again with the band-aids, but finding the true depth to release what really happened to us rather than just band-aid over it and pretend it doesn't exist until it erupts the next time.
And I do really believe, just on that note, when we do have that pain and suffering, because people ask me, oh, it's just so doom and gloom. Well, there's the positive side to that as well, because there's polarity. When we do access that depth of the pain and suffering, and now I've got real strength and stronger towards it, when people try, when that situation used to trigger me, it doesn't so much. And now I can actually feel genuine joy rather than this processed sort of joy. It's
Thank goodness.
real. And
Yeah.
it can be for the tiniest little things rather than, oh, I need to do something to make me feel happy. Now it just is. So there's a positive side to it as well, of course, many positive sides.
And this is the part that a lot of people don't recognize within themselves. When you're stuck in fight or flight and you're fighting for survival and the cortisol is overwhelming in the body and you're on alert for everything and your empath is highly sensitive to everything and you're always looking out for that next hit that's coming your way, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, whatever it may be, you don't feel those good emotions. And joy is something
Mm.
that when you finally feel it, it's a true felt emotion and
Mm.
it's beyond anything else. We mask it with general happiness and we think that we feel joy, but we never really
Mm.
do. And it's something that needs to be experienced regularly, not sparingly.
Mm. Well, with fight and flight, let's say your subconscious gathers information all throughout your life, okay? And that is used as a frame of reference for your brain and your body to react to. So let's say there is a program that says, I am not safe being seen. The part of the brain called the hypothalamus uses that as a frame of reference, talks to the pituitary when I'm being seen by anyone, tells the adrenal glands that stores our stress chemicals, cortisol, adrenaline, and others, to kick them out high because we're in danger. And so the body, it's called the HPA axis. The body is perceiving that in some way you're in danger. That mechanism kicks in, all those chemicals go up, and I'm in fight and flight. But then the negative feedback loop switches all that off when we get to safety. But if you are perceiving that some way you are in danger and the brain doesn't know the difference between it's my mortgage or it's that past memory or it's that future thing, it just sees it as danger, then that mechanism doesn't switch off. It's like a constant drip feed of this stress chemical. And people are like, no, I'm not stressed because it seems so normal. I'm just always like this. And well, that's when the happiness chemical, because if we're using one chemical, let's say the stress chemical, then generally we're using the others up as well. The serotonin, the happy chemical, the dopamine, the reward chemical. So, and then we don't have a never-ending supply of those chemicals. So let's say I do run out of cortisol. He's the one that gets me up in the morning. So now I can't be bothered. And then I'm thinking, what's wrong with me? I can't get out of bed. And then the serotonin makes us happy. But if I run low of that, I'm like, why can't I feel happy? What's wrong with me? Or the oxytocin that makes us feel love, that thing I used to love so much. And now I don't. I just feel numb. And we wonder, we start to question that there's something wrong with us. But there's nothing wrong with us in that situation. It's that we need to rebuild those chemicals because our emotions are not these energetic enigmas. They are biochemical molecules. And if we don't have the building blocks to make them, then we just won't feel that way. We need to rest and digest that parasympathetic, that calm state to rebuild them.
And so many people don't do that. We consider rest a luxury or something that we can't give ourselves space and time for when the parasympathetic nervous system needs it. It's something this weekend I just decided to rest to give myself the recharge. And today I feel really like hyper and much more
Mm.
energetic, even though this morning I just like again going, do I really want to get up? And then once I got moving, it's like it kicks back into gear. And I sort of asked myself, like, are we going to have another low day? And they're going, no, 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 we're just finishing our rest cycle. We beat ourselves up for things like that when we don't need to. The body has to go through these periods of feeling things. Now, you've got to feel all the different emotions. Sometimes you have to sit in sadness for it to release. That is how it does fully let go. Sometimes you have to give yourself rest and time out, detox off social media, go within, meditate, whatever it may be. These moments recharge your batteries, and those batteries are the different chemicals that are needed in our body. There's a lot of talk about a full cortisol detox, which sounds fantastic, but you actually need it.
Exactly. And it's almost like, just going on what you said, there's like a stigma around being sad or feeling lonely or all these things. And it's like, it's actually okay. And we try and hide it so badly and post on social media, oh, look, I look fine, da da da. But actually, it's okay. It's a normal human emotion. This, we need to release the stigma around it. It's okay if you're feeling lonely sometimes. It's okay if you're feeling sad.
Yeah, and it changes your life when you really start looking at what is okay and what is not okay.
Mm.
Society does not help us in any way, shape, or form. It really
No.
doesn't. We are programmed and told
Mm,
just to not feel everything. But there is a full emotional scale, and it goes from the depths of despair all the way to great enlightenment, peace, and object clarity. It's just part and parcel of daily life. What we want to manage better, and what kinesiology helps us do, and other spiritual modalities, is find equilibrium. We run on a wave, right? Emotions are wave like. You
mm,
cannot sit in happiness like that's toxic positivity. It does not
mm,
stay, it comes and goes. But we
mhm,
don't want to have deep peaks and deep highs because that is unhealthy and the body can't cope with that.
mm. Exactly. And it's addictive. How addictive is that high? Okay. And then you go to the low and you're looking for that hit again. And that hit, and sometimes we confuse chaos with excitement based on a subconscious belief. And we're like, I'll go for that chaos. Oh, so exciting. But it's not. It's like a drug, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those highs and lows do get very addictive. So it is about retraining the body to learn that it is safe with peace, to access those when you said toxic positivity, those are our sort of coping mechanisms, aren't they? Oh, I'm feeling angry. No, I don't feel angry. I'll quickly do some positive affirmations. It's okay to feel angry. Sit with it. We don't have to react to it. And there's the challenge. We need to learn, and we all need to do that, myself included. I know that.
Yeah.
We need to learn to sit with that anger. Where's that? Where else have I felt anger? Where in my childhood did I feel anger? What's going on beneath that anger? Allow yourself to feel it and learn not to react and learn to respond.
Yeah, and that's a big thing people don't really learn well. And we're not taught in school or
Mm,
education, even adulthood, how
mm,
to cope with different scenarios that come up for us, situations in life. Like we go through hardship, we go through trauma, we go through tragedy many, many times in life. And anyone that skated it by, let me tell you, there's no such thing.
mm,
They can just deny it, but
mm,
unfortunately, death happens. That is
mm,
upsetting. Accidents happen. They're upsetting. There's tragedy in the world all over the place. It
mhm,
depends on what you focus on and how it hits you. Some people can skate by and not have any of that. But even the most successful, beautiful people do have hardship. It's just the way they
mm,
perceive it. You
mm,
talked about addictions and addictive behavior. Do you have
mm.
any tips for people of how to? I know kinesiology can help you identify it, but if they have this problem, how can they face it? What do they need to do to move through it?
That's a good question. I would say addictions generally is part of our coping mechanisms. We're avoiding something and they make us feel good because maybe without it we don't feel good and we don't want to sit with that because it is far too terrifying. It's almost like people are terrified that it'll never end. If I go there, what if it never ends? What does it mean if I do? You're right, we don't learn this at school. No one teaches us this. No one teaches us emotional regulation or processing. So they build up so much that it becomes terrifying to look at. And so people do turn to addictions, and addictions could be something quite destructive to your life, like drugs or bad relationships or alcohol, that kind of thing. But there can be good addictions, and they're fine, but it's still avoiding the same thing. And it becomes so terrifying. But just to dip a toe in and come back out can be really helpful. Um, yeah, and just balancing the fact that what's going on behind that addiction, where is it that you don't feel safe in your body? What behavior is coming from that not feeling safe? Bring awareness to that. And now we can find the underlying belief system to go with it. That's the first place to start, I would say. Don't always have to go to that place you don't want to go to.
And that's the beautiful thing about it for me is that you don't have to go and drill down into the depths. You don't have to go and look at it. There are many healing modalities out there that can help you remove this, change the way you perceive it, and release it without you having to relive it. And it's the reliving of it, the retelling of the story that solidified the beliefs. And we're here to change those beliefs, to change the subconscious programming to something better. And you can't go from the depths of despair to joy. They just don't happen. As I mentioned, there's an emotional scale. You've got to go through all the ways of it. It's the same when we go through grief. There are phases of it, and you do get there, but it takes time and effort and energy. But this is the better place I would rather put the energy into than suffering. And kinesiology is a very fast removal of some deep seated things that are blocking you that people don't realize how crafty it can be for you.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're right. We don't have to go there. And it is about just retraining the body to feel safe in certain situations. We can access so many things in the subconscious mind because the cells, let's say, for example, your cells communicate to each other electromagnetically. And if you have a dysfunctional cell that's not communicating properly with other cells, but we can't access why, or we don't want to, we can bypass that with other different, loads of different balances. And it could be something more physical or nutritional that we could start with, or maybe that's just enough for that person.
Can you give me some tips as to what are some physical or nutritional changes that you might offer someone for that balance? Because many people don't understand this. It's not like you just come and have a treatment, then there it's removed, it's done. You have to commit to something and you have to make change for self as well. Can you describe that for me?
So it's definitely very unique to every person. I have like a database and all the knowledge that I've got up to now, and the knowledge that they have. It could be something that they know, it might be something that they need to go and see that I don't have, and we can test their body for that. Um, when it comes to like adrenal stress, we always test. I'm not a naturopath, but we always test for like B vitamins, zinc, any herbs that might support that. Energetically, we test that, and then they ask their naturopath or doctor what's right for them. Um, but like I said, if they still have that underlying belief, or if in some way they still believe they're in danger, then it is going to fill a void. It is going to help, but there's always some belief behind it. We don't necessarily have to revisit something awful or something upsetting. We can just work on that belief, and we can do that really quite easily. The main tip I would say with that would be an old belief has really ingrained into your subconscious mind. It's like a thick path, let's call it. So when you access that and go, hang on a minute, I don't want to believe that anymore, and you put a new one in, my main advice would be that's just a thin path right now. It's getting bigger, but give it time, because that deep one, when it dies, it's going to fight for its life, and it's going to be like, oh, this isn't working, or no, this can't be real, this is just silly. If that's happening, just keep going, because it starts in your belief. Remember, it's belief, feeling in your body, behavior, reality. We shouldn't wait for the reality to change before we change the belief. We need to change the belief first, stick with it. Now you see the reality change after.
And beliefs are just thoughts that you keep thinking. It's something that we reiterate with new thought processes and programs. And this is where affirmations come in, or EFT, to solidify that you have to believe something before you see the true reality of it. Everything falls into place once that's in
Mm-hmm.
play.
Mm-hmm.
And people just don't realize that our beliefs are fostered between 0 and 7. Half of us don't remember. We take on our parents' belief, we take on society beliefs, we take on community beliefs, and then we take on the educational system beliefs. And it solidifies in our subconscious mind. And that is how we are brought up. It can also be absorbed for me through past lives and other aspects. We can bring hereditary things through. Kinesiology and other healing modalities can help release them and reframe to new belief systems. The safety and security factor is one of the big ones that I learned, and I'm still learning, controls the manufacture of money and finances in our life. If we don't feel safe and secure in ourselves, money is hard to come by. And those beliefs, like money doesn't grow on trees and money is hard to get or it burns a hole in your pocket, these were stories that I was told for many, many years. And I had to change those beliefs. And from changing that, that's where the new pathway gets solidified. And it can be easy, but it also can be a bit hard because sometimes we don't want to let go of those beliefs. Has there been a certain belief in your life that you personally have struggled with to let go? And what is the greatest one that you feel you've overcome in yourself?
That's a really good question, because I also believe we have these beliefs. Let's say I'm not good enough, or love is painful, or I need to be impressive in order to be approved of, or I can't approve of myself unless someone else approves of me. Those beliefs, let's acknowledge them. Let's ask the body what it wants to release them, and let's accept that they were part of my life. Because once I have that acceptance, and that old belief pokes its head a little bit, tries to fight its way for life again, it's okay. I've worked on it. I'm improving, and it's still okay for me to accept that, sometimes my body, if I've years and years and years of not feeling safe to be seen, heard, or whatever, it's okay to still feel that way. You're safe. That is one of the best things that I've learned. And it's okay to keep learning and keep working on that thing. We're not here to fix anyone. No one needs fixing. We just want to access certain things that aren't serving us anymore. Perhaps they used to,
Yeah.
but like I said, the subconscious doesn't know right or wrong. It just obeys. So now we just want to change it.
I love that. And it explains really well of what I consider the imposter syndrome aspect, right? We don't become what we want. We don't stand out to be seen. We think of all the judgment of what other people it is because we don't feel safe in it. And the more you remind yourself that you are safe, define your own goals of what is good enough, set your own bar rather than compare yourself to other people. This is about you. You slowly show up to be seen. You might do something once or do it very simply. It's not like you can go from this great fear and this insecurity and unsafe aspect to global spotlight. It doesn't work that way. It takes very small minor steps. And each time you face that fear, you face that little condition or you get that little bit of courage each step of the way and it gets stronger. And it's like the muscle that we have to rebuild or build again to become what we need to do. Ask any superstar in the world before they go on stage. They all have some
Mhm.
sort of anxiousness feelings in their body. They all have this like fear. They have this
Yeah.
problem of, oh my God, I can't do this, but they do it anyway. And this is
Mhm.
how we overcome these beliefs by showing our body and our system that we are safe. Okay. Fear has one purpose in life, and that is this said action that I'm going to do will cause me to die. That is its purpose. So a lot of people are afraid of public speaking. I know I had trouble with it myself. Part of the reason I'd created this podcast was to make myself more visible and to give myself permission to step out of the comfort zone and put myself out there. And I've grown in increments over these last 18 months so that it's a whole different version. Go look at some of those early videos and things like that. They're not going to be great, but that's okay because I didn't know better. And you don't know what you don't know until you do know that you do know it. And you learn each and every day. This is where you will grow and become more of what you can do. And kinesiology can help you with that, as well as other aspects in life that can build those muscles, reframe the beliefs, and help you define who you are. A lot of all of this comes back to my way of thinking around people is we lack identity. And I ask people all the time. One of my first questions when a client comes and wants to do coaching with me is I ask them, who are you? You would, it blows my mind how many people look at me going, what do you mean? Who am
Mhm.
I? We don't know our own good qualities. We don't know who we are. We don't know our own beliefs. We don't understand what our identity is. And identity is more than our label and things like that. These beliefs that we have underlying, when you were told at 3 years old that you're hopeless and you'll never amount to anything, that sticks. You have to change that. That is a choice that you have to carry that or show yourself all the evidence over time of where you are no longer that version of self. That's growth. I know in myself, I've had so many ways that I've grown, so many things that I've overcome. What is the biggest growth that you've had personally through this spiritual aspect and how kinesiology has helped you get there?
I would say definitely self-image, because once your brain forms, this is who I am, And now you're trying to be, you don't want this. You know that your reality isn't what you want it to be, but your identity, your self-image is, well, that's who I am, and that's what's safe and familiar. Then to try and, it's not that I don't want that, I do want it. And it's not that I can't get it, I can get it. But as soon as I get it, I push it away without realizing, unless my body feels safe becoming a new identity, a new self-image. We have to allow ourselves to let go of the old one. It's a bit like the same with the belief systems. Allow yourself to sit in the uncomfort, in the discomfort of change. It's going to feel a bit uncomfortable. Now that I know I'm someone who's safe to be seen, in that first instant, it's like, this feels a bit weird. It feels better, but it feels uncomfortable. And just sit with that uncomfort and just sit with it and sit with it. And now it starts to feel more comfortable. And then go to the next level, a bit uncomfortable, sit with it and keep going like that.
And that's the funny thing is most clients and people that I see out there don't like to sit with the discomfort of the new
Mm,
phase. Oh, that's too hard. It's safer back here. It's more familiar and I'm okay in suffering. Please, for God's sake, do not stay suffering. You're not okay
mm,
there. You
mm,
may think that you're okay. You may feel that you're safe there and it's familiar, but it is highly toxic to yourself and it breaks down your body. One of the reasons why these things matter to me is I truly believe with every core of my being, the soul and the subconscious mind, like the kinesiology teaches us, holds all the memories of our body. And when we disregard what's going on within us, that is where disease is created. And our body is the barometer of our soul, the barometer of the mitre of the thinking and feeling of ourselves. When you have disharmony and you are beating yourself down and you're playing short of what you can be and you're not living up to the passion and the mission of your soul, your body will create problems, aches, pains, diseases, problems in your organs or skin or whatever it may be. Dysfunction within your body are signs for you to go and sort them out to get realigned and refocused on where you're going. And health matters. And I hate the fact that the body for me is the last line of defense when your soul is trying to communicate, 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 and you won't pay attention. It will put it in your body so that you have no choice. Listen to your body. It holds all the answers. And when you can't find them for yourselves, and many people out there can't, go and seek professionals. Go and see a kinesiologist. Go see a naturopath. Go see someone that can help you see beyond the story you're telling yourself and help you dig deeper. Discomfort in change is better than discomfort in disease because discomfort in change will lead to growth, will lead to health, will lead to happiness. Discomfort in disease, unfortunately, leads one way, and that's death. And nobody deserves that.
mm, mm. Yeah, you're exactly right. Because consciously, and I make a, because consciously we're 5% conscious. So that's every decision you make in your life in that day. Everything you're doing in your day is 5%, if that, sometimes we're only 1%, but 5% conscious. The rest is run by the programs in our subconscious mind. So consciously, I say, yeah, I want more money. Yeah, I can have more clients. Yeah, I can be a millionaire. But if unconsciously that is not familiar and my body is not ready to receive that yet, then even if it gets it, it pushes it away. So
And it
that's where we need to start.
sabotages.
Yeah,
And that's where self sabotage is so harming to the
exactly.
psyche. And
Exactly.
it's uncomfortable to sit in those next levels. Yes, it is. But give yourself time. It doesn't last forever. The dark night of the soul can be deeply disturbing and uncomfortable for people, and they think that they hit rock bottom and there's no way out. But it's actually the turning point because each level that you rise up, the discomfort is less, and each level that you solidify within yourself, the discomfort is so much more less, and it becomes ease. And then we can elevate and grow through it all if we give ourselves permission. Too many people don't give themselves permission to heal and to be better and to become all that they can be. My hope and wish for the world is that everyone knows there is a reason they are here, that they rise up to become it, and to stand in the power that lies within them. The body has an amazing capacity to heal if you tap into it with the right tools and techniques, and you give yourself time and permission to heal, get support when you need it, because that's what it's there for. Now, Sally, you have a practice, that's right.
Hmm. That's right.
Tell us all about it, and who's the typical client that you work with?
So I see it again and again and again. People want something. They come to the clinic. I want better health. I want two main things, really, I see. There's the people that wants something. We all want something different. So I always say, look at your life. Where's going well? Okay, fine. Where's not going well? Is it your relationship's going well, but your finances aren't? Or your family's going well, but your finances are going well, but your relationship isn't? Something like that. Look where isn't going well. So they come to the clinic, oh, okay, I want better relationships. And so we delve deep, and it's because the body doesn't feel safe having a good relationship. So why? Why doesn't the body feel safe? And that's basically all it is. Or then there might be someone that comes to me that has like physical ailments, like back issues that don't seem to resolve or keep coming back. And so we can access which muscles in the back are they reacting to each other, how many. We go into each muscle and we ask, what's that muscle holding? What memory? What belief system is stuck in that muscle? What emotion? And we can access that. We start to process each muscle in that session with that person. We strengthen each muscle in relation to each other. And now all of a sudden their back's fine. So I just see the same things basically again and again.
I love that. And most people don't even realize that an ache or a pain, we can get told that, like, I know people that have had back problems and disc problems, or that they've pulled this muscle or that muscle, but each individual muscle or each individual part can hold a problem. I remember years ago, a friend of mine had kidney pain, and they didn't have any other symptoms from it. They got tested. There was no kidney stones. There was no problem with the urethra. There was no other issues, but they just kept having this kidney pain. And
Mm.
I do some specialized kinesiology, and I can muscle test with my finger from charts and things like that. So I sat with them and we went through the charts and found the emotions that were from it. And we ticked on something and they just sat there and gone, that's not a problem. And I'm going, I just got told, because I intuitively can tune in, I got told that that happened when your pain started happening. You had this problem with a family member and that happened. Tell me about that. And they told me about the story that happened. And then we looked at what I call the triangle of truth, their version, the other side version, and then the overseeing perspective. Like you said, to look at all avenues of it. We analyzed it, looked at it, gave them some feedback, told them some affirmations to program in, come back 3 days later, and they come back and go, oh my God, Chaz, I have no kidney pain. It's gone. What the hell happened? And it all started around this one fight that triggered an emotion that got stuck. It can hit an organ with something totally different, and you can go for tests after tests after tests. Like, I can't tell you how many weird health problems that I had. I got diagnosed with rheumatism when I was 23, and the doctor said that this is the problem. I go, yeah, no, I'm not having that. No, because it's a lifelong disease, and I'm not having. No, 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 don't accept that. He sent me to a neurologist who told me he wanted to do a operation on the pineal gland. I said, nope, not having that either. And I've gone, I said to my body, I don't care what this is, work it out. We are going to fix this. And then I just started changing my thinking. I don't consciously know what I changed, but I don't have that disease. I went back 2 years later for a test because I got referred to go back to him. All the markers that I had in my blood, all the problems that I had disappeared. And it all started from a little rash on my body that nobody could identify. I lost the use of my arm for 6 weeks. I used to drive my car. I drove a manual car with my elbow. Don't ask. Probably shouldn't have done it back then, but I did. And but I changed it. And this is what led me to look at the body as a whole. I had mystery diseases all through my 20s of things that I went to doctors and they go, it's impossible, this doesn't happen, nothing's going on. But I had all these symptomatic problems. And that's where I discovered if we release our emotional burdens, if we find out what's really going on, and our body truly is that barometer of the soul, it is the identifier of everything in our life, we can change the world with us. So, thank you for sharing all of this beautiful information. As I said, kinesiology is dear to my heart. I practice some of it myself, but I love knowing practitioners. I've had a dear friend Barbara, who's been a practitioner and a mentor in my life for many years, and she taught me so much of it. And I've been to see another dear friend, Alice, and knowing you now, I'm so grateful to refer people to you. Where Tell us again where you are. You're over at Rose Bay and Vaucluse, is that right?
Rose Bay, no, not Rose Bay anymore. I'm at Vaucluse
Yep.
and Paddington.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, you
Yeah,
found a new place?
I did. Yes.
Fantastic. We were
Yeah, it's
talking about that
really
last time. I
lovely.
forgot to ask.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, if any of the listeners are over in the eastern suburbs, please check Sally out. I will put all her details down in the show notes for everyone. It has been amazing talking to you. I just want to ask two final questions. One is, if someone's feeling stuck or overwhelmed, what would be the advice that you give them? And or what do they need to stop and start doing right now?
If someone is feeling stuck or overwhelmed, it's not necessarily that you are stuck, it's that your body doesn't feel safe to move forward. So, what they need to do is bring awareness. Where is it that you feel stuck in your life? In what area of your life do you feel stuck? Now, notice the reality of that. Now, notice the behavior around that reality. Oh, well, I act like this, I think this, I do this. Now, it's notice that way how your body feels. Does it feel tight? What does it feel when in that area of where you're feeling stuck? And now you can sort of access, how do I feel? What belief might be going on under there? Now, it is very unconscious, so don't worry if you don't know, but that's basically where we start. Sometimes the awareness of it helps kick into action the realization of the belief system. Just give it time.
I love that. It's beautiful. And do you have a belief or a mantra that you live by?
I'm safe to be seen. Um, I am here because I choose to be here and I accept the consequences. I'm here because I choose to be here and I accept the consequences. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. Like, oh, I live in Australia, but oh, I'm missing da da da. Or, oh, I'm doing this, but that means I can't do that. Lots of people have conflicts in their life. So if you're here and you choose to be here because you choose to be here and you accept the consequences of that, then you're good.
Oh my God, I love that. Thank you so much. Sally, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I really look forward to learning more about you. And I'm telling you, I'm coming for a kinesiology session. I haven't had one in a long time, and I want to come and have some more.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really wonderful.
It's been a real pleasure. Until next time, everyone.
Bye.